I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Frame by Frame. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, commentaries, topics, reviews, re-reviews, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for The Green Knight, which I know a lot of critics loved, a lot of people loved. If you love it, good on you, man. I'm glad you loved it. I know of the poem. I know of the other film based on this, Sword of the Valiant, because I reviewed it like a year ago on my channel. That's the one where you had, I believe, Miles O'Keefe and you had Sean Connery looking like a Christmas tree. Terrible film. This is a movie by A24 Productions, and I'm going to say this right here. A24 is without a doubt one of the most overrated studios in the business today. There's maybe two films of theirs I've liked. Uncut Gems and The Disaster Artist. Well, I didn't mind this one called Good Time with Robert Pattinson. I didn't mind that one either, so 3. But Hereditary, Tusk that Kevin Smith did, Midsommar, The Lighthouse, The Witch, Midsommar, It Comes at Night, and In Your Own Mouth. I hated those movies. I think, yeah, they were pretentious, but they were just boring. And what they seem to think is A24 hides their problems with gorgeous cinematography. It's like the band-aid they try to put on for their non-existent stories. They're either slow, extremely drawn out, boring, or at times becomes off as rather silly when it's not supposed to. This is why this story was only a poem-length story, not a story that should be over 2 hours long. Now again, there have been long movies I've enjoyed. Blade Runner 2049, some people feel that's slow and drawn out. I really enjoy that film. You give me a list of artsy-fartsy films, I could go, I enjoy 2001: A Space Odyssey, or other Stanley Kubrick films like Dr. Strangelove. Just go ahead, give me a list. I could point to plenty of films I enjoy. And yeah, if you enjoy it, good on you. But I am not surprised when you read countless stories of people leaving the theater, or they tell their stories, oh, I was at the theater and 3 people left, or 4 people left. They left in the middle of it, they left 15 minutes until the movie was done. 15 minutes left into the film. I don't blame them. Just like I said, it has great cinematography. It's a beautiful looking movie. The acting is really the problem. Dev Patel as the lead from Slumdog Millionaire and Chappie, Joel Edgerton has a role in this. I have no issues with the acting. I have no issues with how good looking of a movie it is. Again, the last time the story was adapted was Sword of the Valley, where Sean Connery, again, looked like a fucking Christmas tree. The effects, there's a scene where your lead guy is with this fox and sees these giants walking across, and the way they're shot and the fog brings almost a bigger level of mythological age to them. So it looks cool and it looks neat, and I get the symbolism. Oh, you just didn't get it. Yes, I get the symbolism. The story is Dev Patel. He's a guy who is a nephew to King Arthur. And, hey, you know, what kind of tales do you have of us? He's like, I don't really have any, because he likes to go around to whorehouses, fuck the ladies. I don't blame him. And that's really what he's doing. Relaxing, fucking around, fucking a lady here or there. It's Christmas Day, and one day this Green Knight comes in. Nice visuals. He says, any of you knights want to take a blow to my head, try to knock me off, kill me, go ahead. But if you mess up, I did one swipe of you 1 year from today. So of course Dev Patel, he wants the power, he wants the glory, he decides to do it, he's gun-ho, does it, cuts the head off, but it's a trick because the creature picks his fucking head up and says, till next year. And I knew where the story was going because I've seen Sword of the Valiant, and more or less there's some little there's changes, but more or less it's the similar story. So it's not like I was surprised, maybe compared to others. I knew where it was going. So in a way it's predictable, but you can't really blame the film for that if it's trying to be at least somewhat reasonable within the original story, which was a poem. And again, and yes, it's better than Sword of the Valiant, because at least here you can marvel at the visuals. But who cares about cinematography if I don't care about the characters, and I think the story is very fucking slim. Drawn out, slim, and slow. And again, Blade Runner 2049, people say the same thing happened with that. I disagree. Yes, it's a long movie. I don't think it needed to be that long. Yes, there's little nitpicks here and there I have about, but I got into the story more. I got into Ryan Gosling's character more. Him learning more about his backstory. And you think it's going to go one way and it goes another. He thinks he's a son, but he's not a son. But then that, sort of makes him say, you know what, I may not be human, I may not be this, but I'm going to choose a better path. Would you say it's trying to do with this, but this one, I thought it just comes off much more tedious. Because it jumps to a year later, he goes off on his journey to meet his fate, and the whole journey is supposed to be a symbolism of, by the end, to not be so selfish, not be so cowardly, and these little tasks that he does. He gets robbed by these guys who take his axe, so maybe that's a symbol of humility, or whatever you want to call it. He's lying there tied up, and the camera will pan around the forest slowly, slowly, slowly. Then something that looks like him, but it's a skeleton, and it pans around slowly, slowly, and there's him again. So obviously he's not the skeleton, but it could be him in the future, or if he doesn't change, or if he doesn't fight, or whatever symbolism you want to go into. Or before that, when he first goes on his journey and he's galloping on the horse, and it takes like a full minute of just him galloping on the horse, looking around. A full like minute to minute and a half. And that may not sound long, but that happens quite a few times where there's just moments it just drags. I don't know why tighter pacing is not a thing nowadays. Because if you're going to lengthen it that much to over 2 hours long, there better be some meat with the potatoes. And there's really not a lot of meat there. He finds a girl, says, I want you to get this skeleton. He's like, well, am I going to get a reward? Knights like you should not ask for things like that. So he does another task, just did chivalry. Don't do something for kindness, not because you expect a reward. He goes in, he gets the skull, he comes back, that woman is not there, instead it's a skeleton. He puts this skull with the skeleton, sort of rejoins her, completed that task, moves along. He does get an axe. He meets this CGI fox that follows him from time to time. That's where he sees the big giants. Nice looking visual cinematography is the best thing about this. If you took the cinematography out, I don't think this film would get the praise. I would bet money. If it wasn't cinematography, this film would not get the praise by critics, and I really do believe that. But hey, if that's what it takes, I can understand. Again, some people say Blade Runner 2049 was that. To me, it's much more. And maybe it's working vice versa, which to you, it's much more to the story. The story just didn't grab me. The characters didn't grab me. And then not because the actors were bad, but I didn't really find, at least not the lead guy, I didn't really find him that interesting. When we're following him along in his journey, and like Joel Edgerton seems like he could potentially be a more interesting character. Maybe because I like the actor, but before he meets him, that scene with the giants, the guy's like, hey, let me have a ride with you guys. And then the fox guy, ooh, 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 ooh. And then it's like, what the fuck? More than likely it was, no, he can't get a ride with you guys. He's got to do this on his own. He's got to complete this journey that he got to do by himself, not ask for help. He's got to gain courage, learn about courage and not being selfish, and be a man, and all the symbolism you want to put into it. That's fine and dandy. It's not an exciting film, and I knew going in it wasn't going to be an action-adventure film. I'm not thinking it's going to be Conan the fucking Barbarian. Or She-Ra, or whatever the hell else you want to put in between. I know. But slow, drawn out, boring are the best words to describe this picture. The best fucking words. It's a great cure for insomnia. Oh, you just want to go watch Fast and Furious movies. Apparently, if people say that, they don't know my thoughts on some of the Fast and Furious films. I know that. Especially the latest one. But you can have symbolism in your films. But the true test is you want to combine symbolism with entertainment. The 1990 film Jacob's Ladder, for example, has some really good symbolism. It truly does. But it's also a story that keeps you invested, pulls you in, and I don't really find much of an emotional core with this. There was a lot of emotions, genuine like joy, or sadness, or horror, which is funny because some of the very early like teasers seem like it was going to have like more of a horror film vibe. And I'm like, well, that's not the case, because that's not what this story's about. But okay, maybe that's a take they're doing it. Like, no. So, what emotional core are you really getting out of this? What are you feeling during it, other than, oh, look at the pretty colors, look at the pretty visuals? I didn't really find much of an emotional core to it. Like an emotional bonding, whether it be in 127 hours, whether it be even Adam Sandler's very flawed protagonist in Uncut Gems, which he gave a stellar performance. I felt like this is a flawed character and he's his own worst enemy, but I still felt some emotional bits for him, like, oh, man, don't do that, don't do this. And That's my cat literally trying to get in and saying, "Stop talking about this fucking movie. I have to. It's a paid request." He doesn't like me talking about this fucking film. But after the giant scene, he meets this nice lord played by Joel Edgerton. Oh, that's gonna annoy the piss out of me. Oh, for crying out loud. Maybe it's good that cat did that, because it gave me room to pause. Pontificate. Not masturbate. Pontificate. Illuminate this discussion. Apparently the cat didn't like me using those big words either. Or maybe he didn't like the word masturbate, because he can't do it. I don't care. I'm being silly and stupid. I don't give a shit, because I had to wake myself up like this because it's ready to make you fall asleep. I'm not ADD. I can watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, thoroughly enjoy it. And again, what people say about those, I could say about this and vice versa. Maybe because the story didn't draw me in. Maybe because this topic didn't draw me in. Maybe because I knew what was coming more or less because of seeing films like Sword of the Valiant. Or maybe everything in between. Maybe because, again, the characters didn't really draw me in. Or if you just say the characters aren't really big in 2001: A Space Odyssey, but at least the story itself, with the mystery of the monolith and the Hell 9000, and sadly kind of the best, most interesting character in the movie, but at least that's something compared to this. Anyway, he meets this nice lord, Joel Edgerton. Hey, come stay here, relax. When it's time for you to go, you can go, but you just stay, relax. The lord's wife seduces the guy. The guy does it because, again, he hasn't learned a fucking thing apparently at this point. And this old blind woman is watching him, ready to fuck, and he's like, "Duh, duh, duh, duh." And then he tries to leave, and then the Lord's like, "Oh, you try to fuck my wife, huh? You try to fuck my wife? I was going to give you this, but you can piss off and suck my dick." And so he's like, "Okay, fine, I won't suck your dick, Mr. Lord, I'm going to go ahead and leave." And then he gets to the fucking Green Knight. "Oh, you don't get on my knees and get on your knees and suck my dick?" "No." "Okay, fine, I will do it." "No, I actually got this gift on. You try to swing, ain't doing shit to me. Then I'm gonna run off like a bitch in heat and be a chicken shit. And then I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna be the king. I'm the king of the world. Okay?" Except it doesn't end well, and everybody hates him because he knows he's a chicken shit, and then he's a piece of shit, and everyone hates him. And then the kingdom's going up to Shit Creek. And then you find out that whole bit was a vision. He's still on his knees, not ready to suck Green Knight's green dick, but he takes the thing off. He said, because that thing, the gift that he had from before, is what kept him from getting his head cut off. He takes off and says, "You know what, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die as a hero. I'm going to die with courage, at least. I'm going to die with courage." That's the thing. Nobility and courage. Not from my own chicken shit selfish needs. And then Green Knight doesn't do it. You pass the test. Good job. Leaves. And then that's the whole point, is that this is a guy who, mainly from his mom, because his mom is the one making this ritual at the beginning of the film that created the Green Knight. And pretty much this was this journey for him to be a man, stop shitting his pants, take the diapers off, and learn a little bit about courage and a little bit about nobility. I'm saying there's a lot of other ways to do this where you can keep the visuals, you can keep the symbolism, you can keep the motifs, but you could do this film in 90 minutes or 100 minutes, not 2 hours and 5, 2 hours and 10 minutes. These drawn out scenes, having something drawn out doesn't automatically make something that much more impactful and artsy. Maybe artsy-fartsy, But it doesn't mean it's always needed. You can do it. That doesn't mean it's always successful in doing in that venture. And I see here and I go, yeah, there's some nice visuals. Mostly you saw in the trailers. Like, if you watch all the trailers for this film, you got everything you needed out of the movie. So, just watch the trailers. Because what else are you actually getting out of this movie? What can you really say about Dev Patel's character of any bit of interest, intrigue, charisma? It's not supposed to be fun. I'm sorry, the dialogue didn't really gravitate me into remembering anything about it of note or noteworthy cause. To repeat for the camera here. This is a boring as shit movie. And people, oh, you know, go watch your Fast and Furious movie. People don't throw that. Even though I say, if you like the film, that's cool. And if it's your cup of tea, that's cool. Maybe because I'm not really into the big Teen Arthur type of storytelling. But even then, like I said, this is much more of trying to be a slow burn, drawn into this world. And yeah, it's nice to look at for a bit, but it's like, and what? Plenty of those sword and sorcery films back in the day were good looking too, but they had more meat to their bones, whether it be entertainment value or anything of the sort. So yeah, if you like the Green Knight, cool. It's not my cup of tea. It was for me. I thought it was boring as hell. So with that said, I really don't know what else to say. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.